Good morning, everyone. Once again, I welcome you all on my YouTube channel. Today, we are going to resume the chapter number 8 of Flamingo. The name of the chapter is Going Places, and it is written by A.R. Barton. Going Places is a story about one girl who was living in her own world. It is about the adolescent fantasizing and hero worship. This is the story about Sophie. So before resuming the explanation line by line, I would like to revise what we discussed in the previous video. Okay, so in the previous video, I told you that one day Sophie shares a secret with Job while he was sitting in his room. She told him how she had a chance meeting, how she met accidentally with Danny Casey, who was a very famous Irish league player. And she also said that she was standing in front of a shop when someone came and stood beside her. When she looked around, she was surprised to see that it was Danny Casey. In the meantime, Sophie's father came in and Geoff told him about what Sophie has said. Sophie trembled in herself because she was mortally afraid of her father. The father spoke of Danny very lightly and said that he was not that good player. At that, Sophie started talking of Danny in a very high terms. She even said that he was going to buy a shop. At this, the father remarked that one of those days, Sophie was going to talk herself into a load of trouble. So let us resume now. According to Sophie's father, one of these days Sophie was going to put herself into a lot of trouble. Her father said her aggressively. So when her father said to her that the way she was leading her life, the way she was talking about fancifully, how she fancifully met Danny Cassie. So it was as I say, adolescent fantasizing. So her father believed that Sophie was going to put herself into trouble if she kept on imagining that she met with Danny Cassie. Her father was aggressive. So Sophie, in defense, she said that Joff knows it's true, don't you? So Sophie, in her defense, told to her father that she met Danny Casey and Joff knew that it was true. She was not lying. She was not fantasizing. Joff knew that it was true that she met Danny Casey, and she asked Joff whether she knew or not. So he don't believe you, though he would like to. So her father said that even Joff didn't believe him. Even Joff also didn't believe her, though he would like to. So Sophie was told that her father as well as Joff would not believe that she had met Danny Cassie, even though he would like to believe, but they would not believe it because they thought that it was just adolescent fantasy because Sophie was fantasizing that she met Danny Cassie. The table lamp cast an amber glow across her brother's bedroom wall. So now Sophie went into the room of Joff and the table lamp cast an amber glow. The table lamp sprayed a yellowish glow, a yellowish shine across her brother's bedroom wall. So there was a yellowish light reflected on the bedroom wall of Joff and across the larger poster of United's first team. So even we could see that the table lamp spread a yellowish light, yellowish shine across the bedroom wall and also across the large poster of United's first team. So there was a large poster of Manchester United's first team. United here means one of the football team, league team of England, known as Manchester United. You must be familiar with the league team of England. Liverpool, Newcastle, Manchester United, Sutherland. So, so there was a large poster of United's first team squad and the row of colored photograph beneath it. Underneath that, there were a line of color photograph underneath of all the football player of team squad, Manchester United's first team squad. All the photograph of the different player, the attacker, defender. Three of them of the young Irish prodigy, Cassie, and among those 11 or 15 players, three of those players were the young Irish prodigy. Prodigy means those who have a bright future, very talented football player, Irish football player, Cassie, and one of them was Danny Cassie. So Sophie just went nearer to her brother Geoff and she told him. Sophie said, "Promise you will tell no one." So Sophie asked her brother Geoff that he had to promise her that he would not tell anyone that she had met Danny Cassie. In reply to that, Geoff said that nothing to tell is there. So Geoff, when Sophie was asked to him to promise her not to tell anyone that she met Danny Cassie, Geoff, he very boldly said that there was nothing to tell because Geoff didn't believe that actually Sophie had met Danny Cassie. So he believed that there was nothing to tell. So it was not important thing. So he would not tell anyone because he didn't trust her. Promise Geoff, still dad would murder me. Even though her brother didn't believe her, Sophie still asked her brother Geoff to promise her that he would not tell anyone that she met Danny Cassie because if her father would come to know about her chance meeting with Danny Cassie, then her father would murder him, would murder her. So he would murder her. So she was afraid that her father would murder her if he would come to know about her chance meeting with Danny Cassie. In reply to that, Job said that only if he thought it was true. So even Job told his sister that her father would murder her if he thought it was true because even Sophie's father, he thought that it was not true. Whatever Sophie was talking about her chance meeting with Danny Cassie was not true. It was a adolescent fantasizing. It was imagination of. So that's why she was not going to be murdered by her father because if he thought it was true, then only her father would hurt her or her father would murder her. As her father would not believe that she had met Danny Cassie, though she would not be harmed or she would not be hurt or she would not be murdered by her father. Even Job was very confident that Sophie's father would not believe that it was true that Sophie had met Danny Cassie. Please, Job. But Sophie requested, Sophie urging her brother that uh, he should make promise that he would not tell anyone. Cry, Sophie, you are still at school, and Casey must have string of girls. So Job just clarified to Sophie that she was still at school. She was not grown up for Jesus Christ. Job said to Sophie that she was still at school, and even Casey must have string of girls. Means Sophie was not the one girl who was a fan of Casey. Casey must have friends like Sophie, so many friends. Must have string of girls means Casey must have large number of fan follower like Sophie. She was not the only one to to whom Casey must have attracted. So Casey must have many girls around him because Casey was a football player. He was a prodigy, Irish prodigy. So Casey must have many girls who would like to fall in love with him. Sophie was not the only one who fell in love with him. But Sophie, she was too young to understand. So she just believed, no, he doesn't. Sophie believed that no, Cassie mustn't have a string of girls. Cassie mustn't have a large number of girls who were attracted towards him. She believed that Cassie must have attracted towards only her. She was the only one to whom Cassie must have attracted. He doesn't have a string of girls. So this shows Sophie was very young. She doesn't know the flattery. She doesn't know the reality How could you know that? He jeered. Jeer means taunted. So Job taunted to Sophie that how she could know that Cassie must not have a large number of girls who would like to fall in love with him. How could she know that Cassie only liked her only? Cassie didn't like the other girls. He told me that's how. So Sophie defended by saying that Cassie had told her that he only loved her, and that's how she knew that Cassie didn't have large number of girls who would like to fall in love with him. Cassie only attracted towards her only. So he himself told her that he attracted towards her. As if anyone would tell a girl something like that. So Job then he told to his sister that no one would tell a girl something like that because it's the nature of man that man never tell a girl that he only loves her only, even though he loves so many girls. But no man would tell a girl something like that he only loves her only, even though he had so many girls around him. Yes, he did, but Sophie insisted that Job should believe her that he did. Casey did like her only. He didn't like any other girl. He isn't like that. So Sophie told Job that Cassie was not like that. Cassie was not like the other man who hide from the girls. He's quiet. According to Sophie, Cassie was a quiet person. He was not like the other football player who who falls in love with the so many girls. Not as quiet as all that apparently. So Job said that as Sophie believed that Cassie was a quiet person, very silent person, but he was not as quiet as all that. Obviously he was not quiet. He had so many fan followers, and she was one of them. She was not the only one to whom he was attracted. It was nothing like that, Job. It was me who spoke first. So Sophie again she defended that it was not. It was nothing like that. It was her. It was she who spoke first. So Sophie then told to her brother that how she met Danny Cassie and how she initiated the conversation. It was nothing like that, that he was not quiet, he was not silent, because it was she who spoke first to Danny Cassie. And she told to her brother how she met Danny Cassie and how she started conversation. When I saw who it was, I said, "Excuse me." So when Sophie went to the shopping for buying clothes, and when she saw who it was, when she saw that it was Cassie, so she said to Danny Cassie, "Excuse me, but aren't you Danny Cassie?" So she went closer to him and she asked Danny Cassie whether he was not Danny Cassie, and he looked sort of surprised. So when Sophie asked Danny Cassie whether he was a famous football player, Danny Cassie looked very surprised to her. And he said, "Yes, that's right." And Danny Cassie also agreed that he was a football player, Irish football player, Danny Cassie. It was right. And I knew it must be him because he had the accent. So Sophie told to her brother that she, even though she didn't know the appearance of Danny Cassie, but she knew that it was Danny Cassie because he had the accent. So she was familiar with the accent of Danny Cassie whenever he gave interview. So you know, like when they interviewed him on the television. So Sophie might not have seen Danny Casey face to face, but she recognized him only on the base of the accent, because whenever Danny Casey interview was taken on television, so she recognized him on the base of the accent. So I asked him for an autograph. So Sophie just wanted to get autograph from Danny Casey as he was a very talented Irish footballer. So she asked him for an autograph for little Derek. So she didn't ask Danny Casey to give his autograph for her. She asked him to give his autograph for her younger brother, little Derek. But neither of us had any paper or pen. So Danny Casey was ready to give his autograph to Sophie for her younger brother Derek, but neither of them had any paper. Neither Sophie nor Danny Cassie had any pen or paper. So then we just talk a bit. So as neither Sophie or Cassie had any paper or pen, so they decided to just talk a little bit about themselves, about the clothes in Roy's window, and they talk. Sophie and Danny Cassie, they talk about the clothes in Roy's window where Sophie went to buy clothes. He seemed lonely, and it is the belief of Sophie that Danny Cassie seemed lonely. He didn't have any girlfriend or he didn't have any friend. After all, it's a long way from the west of Ireland. And why did Sophie believe that he means Danny Cassie was lonely? Because it's a long way from the west of Ireland. It was way away from the island, and he was in England. And then just as he was going, he said, if I would care to meet him. So when they were departing, when Sophie and Danny Cassie, after talking a bit about the clothes in Roy's window, when they were about to depart, just as he was going, as Danny Cassie was going, he turned towards Sophie and said whether she would care to meet him next week. So it was Danny Cassie who asked Sophie whether she would like to meet him the following week. He would give him, so he would give me an autograph then. So Danny Cassie promised her that if she was ready to meet him the following week, then he would give her an autograph then. Of course, I said I would. And Sophie was also ready to meet him. So Sophie said that of course you would definitely meet him. So now we will discuss the thing as you read the questions. So why did Sophie wriggle when Job told her father that she had met Danny Cassie? So Sophie wriggled when Job told her father that she had met Danny Cassie because she feared, she was afraid that her father would be very angry to hear this, and her father would scold her for it. So that was why Sophie wriggled in fear. Does Job believe what Sophie says about her meeting with Danny Cassie? So answer is no. Job doesn't believe what Sophie tells him. So Job says it's the unlikeliest thing he ever heard. So this shows that Job didn't believe what Sophie said about her chance meeting with Danny Cassie. Does her father believe her story? So again, no. Sophie's father doesn't believe her story at all about her chance meeting with Danny Cassie. He turns his head and looks at her in disdain, in disgust. How does Sophie include her brother Job in her fantasy of her future? So, Sophie made up a story of how she had met Cassie at the window of a shop, and she told it to her brother. She also told him that she had asked him for an autograph and that how handsome and gentle he looked. Thus, she tried to include her brother in her fantasy. Actually, Sophie didn't meet Danny Cassie, but it was her adolescent fantasy, and she wanted to include her brother Joff into her fantasy, the world of fantasy. Which country did Danny Cassie play for? So Danny Cassie played for Ireland. So these are the answer. So when Sophie was asked by Danny Cassie whether she would meet him, if she would meet him the following week, then he would give her an autograph. Sophie was ready. Sophie accepted his proposal that she would definitely meet him next week, as if he had ever show up. So Job just commented that she was speaking as if Danny Cassie had ever show up the next week, the following week. You do believe me now, don't you? So Sophie insisted Job that he should believe her. He should believe her now because Danny Cassie definitely he promised her that the following week he would meet her and he would give her autograph for her brother Derek. So she insisted that Job should believe her. He dragged his jacket, which was shiny and shapeless, So Sophie then talk about how Danny Cassie he dragged his jacket, he removed his jacket which was shiny and shapeless from the back of the chair and pushed his arm into it. She wished he paid more attention to his appearance. So Sophie wished that uh, Danny Cassie should have paid more attention to means his appearance. She wished he paid more attention to his appearance. Wished he cared more about clothes. So it was Sophie's wish that Danny Cassie should more he should more pay attention to his appearance, and she also wished that he cared more about clothes because he was not very selective about wearing clothes. He was tall with a strong dark face, handsome, she thought. So even though Sophie hadn't met Danny Cassie, but she had in her fantasy world, she had imagined that how he looked in appearance, and she believed that Danny Cassie had not taken care about his appearance. He should have cared about his clothing, about his appearance, about his looks. So, according to Sophie, Danny Cassie was tall with a strong dark face and he looked very handsome. She thought about it. It's the unlikeliest thing I ever heard. But when Joff was narrated the appearance of that Danny Cassie by Sophie, Joff said it was the unlikeliest thing he had ever heard. Whatever description given by Sophie about Danny Cassie was not to be believed by him. It was the unlikeliest thing he had ever heard. On Saturday, they made their weekly pilgrimage to watch United. So on Saturday, as you know very well that English Premier League on every Saturday and Sunday, the matches are conducted of the English Premier League. So on Saturday, Sophie and her family they made their weekly pilgrimage. So every week they go to watch the matches of Manchester United. So on Saturday, as usual, Sophie and her family members they made their way to watch Manchester United's match against the another football team. Sophie and her father had, and little Derek went down near the goal, and Geoff, as usual, always went with his mates higher up. So when they went to watch Manchester United's match, Sophie and her father and little Derek they went down near the goal post. So their place they sat near the goal post, while Geoff, as always, he went with his mates, friends higher up. United won 2-0 and Cassie draw in the second goal. So Sophie remembered very well that Manchester United won the match 2-0, 2 goal against 0. And Danny Cassie's role was important because Danny Cassie had driven in the second goal. A blend of innocence. So the way Danny Cassie played, it showed a mixture of innocence and Irish genius. So how Danny Casey he went round the two big defenders. So here the writers describe that how Danny Casey he went around the two big defenders, how he befooled them on the edge of the penalty area and with her father screaming for him to pass. So when Danny Casey was driving the ball with his innocence and genius when he went round the two big defenders, how he befooled them on the edge of penalty. Sophie's father was screaming to Danny Casey to pass that ball to another player. But Danny Casey, instead of passing the ball, he beat the hesitant goalkeeper from a dozen yards. So how Danny Casey very elegantly he move around the defenders and how he, without passing the ball, he beat the hesitant goalkeeper from a dozen yard and how he made the goal, second goal. Sophie glowed with pride. Sophie, when she found how Danny Casey he played an important role in the Manchester United victory against another team. Sophie was shining with pride. She was feeling proud of Danny Casey, how he had beaten the goalkeeper, and how he made the goal. Afterwards, Joff was also ecstatic. Even Joff was also he was ecstatic when he saw that how Danny Casey had played a big role in Manchester United victory. So I hope you have understood up to this. We'll resume the chapter in the next video.